field set, folks. We're about to go racing. They come out of turn number 9, rolling down to turn 10. Field looking good for the first time here in 2026 for the USF Pro 2000 category, the top level of the USF Pro Championships. Lined up, coming through that snaking back straightaway down into turn number 10. AT&T Stadium in the background, Choctaw Stadium to the left as they come up to turn number 10. Lining things up, the anticipation, a slow crawl down this long straightaway heading in to turn number 10. Field looks good, lining up nicely. 21 drivers, we're underway. And for the first time in 2026, we are green, green, green. Big move down to the bottom of the racetrack. Jeffers is gonna go around the outside. Good tuck to the inside for Costello. He's thought about going to the lead, but I think better for him to check back in to try to hold the spot. We are underway now. First run down out of turn number 10 through 11 and 12. Jeffers with the lead. Oh, overcooked there for Cardenas. Cardenas may have just barely got into the back of Jeffers. You wonder whether or not the left side of the wing may have cut that tire, that left rear for Jeffers. There was maybe some slight contact. Jeffers looking good so far as they work their way through turn at number 14, the final corner on this racetrack. And they'll work their way back out. So indeed, getting things underway. First time down into turn number 1. Jeffers is the leader. So there you have it. Scorpioni runs in second, Costello third, Mossman fourth. Cardenas lost a couple of spots. First time, hammered it through 1, 2, and 3. The drop off from 2 down into the short chute over to 3 is a pretty aggressive fall down over, it's really a hard angle coming down to the corner. Almost jerks the wheel from the driver's hands, but otherwise the opening lap in the books indeed.
Nice job by all of these drivers. We've seen them running too wide through a number of areas on the track. We weren't sure we would be able to see them running too wide, but a very nice job in the opening laps, and no lack of competition throughout this field as well. They are hard charging and understanding that this is going to be a short sprint race. Probably won't get the 18 laps they were talking about. There is a hard out, but now it's about making up every position that you can effectively.
Yeah, mission number 1 done for the front row starters. They run 1 and 2, and I guarantee you that both Jack Jeffers and Leonardo Scorpioni had a quick chat. Hey, listen, we got to get through turn number 1. Then we can go racing. Here's the battle further back. We're going to see a number of these drivers on the move. That is the number 95 of, who's in the 95 right now? That's Matt Clark. Yeah, so we weren't quite sure what car Matt Clark would be in. He's been in different numbers, been in the 90 last year. So Matt Clark in the 95. Elbows up for him as he's trying to hold back. Big run around the outside. Oh, that's trouble there. Driver goes off. Thomas Schrag. Schrag got deep into the corner, wasn't able to make it, and tried to hit the escape route, and he noses it into the tire barrier on the outside of turn number 10. Field working his way through 11 back to 12, so a driver is off. We'll see whether or not Schrag is able to get himself back out, but there's that battle a little further back. Clark, Cameron, Golan, and indeed full course caution as the driver has gone off. Thomas Schrag into the tires on the end of the back straightaway.
Running in the top 10, it looked like that was a pretty significant hit in towards the tire barrier, and apparently we have another car off in that area as well as the AMR safety team goes to check on Thomas Schrag as we go under full course caution.
Looks like Logan Adams maybe have headed to the pit lane as well based on what I'm seeing here on live timing. Race control telling me that 2 drivers are off, the 26 for sure. We talked about Thomas Schrag already, trying to get the second number of a driver off down in the end of the straightaway, turn number 10. And Schrag started the turn in and then just realized, hey, listen, I'm not going to make this corner and I got to bail out. And did the best he could. Sebastian Manson, the other driver involved, those are both, no, I was going to say they're both turned TJ Speed cars, but Manson was with TJ Speed last year. Blending everything together.
Moved over to turn 3 this year.
He did move to turn 3. So tough there for Sebastian Manson and for Thomas Schrag. Thomas getting out of the car. I can't think it'd be a ton of damage on the race car.
Hard to tell just how far he's gone into the tires and or the wall there. If it's just a front wing, that's a pretty easy fix, of course. You just hope that none of the suspension has been damaged, because this is race 1 of 2 today for the USF Pro 2000 series.
I will say this, if they are bringing the hook out here right now, not just pushing him back, we're expecting very likely right front damage as well to the suspension. Otherwise, they'd be able to push him back, get him back to pit lane. But indeed, you can see the other car potentially out over here. So, yeah, both Sebastian Manson and Thomas Schrag involved in the incident. Turn 3 Motorsports and TJ Speed. Let's give you a top 10 rundown as they run around here now. Jack Jeffers back to second. What I'm seeing here is Leonardo Scorpioni. Now, that may have just been on the yellow flag. I don't know whether or not Scorpioni had made the pass there, but otherwise, Because Scorpione, just looking at his lap time, like he maybe didn't have checked up and potentially just crossed the line. So I'm going to say, unofficially, Jeffers is still the leader. Scorpione second, Mossman in third, Costello runs in fourth, Masella in fifth spot, Douglas in sixth, Argyros seventh, Cardenas eighth, Matt Clark up into ninth, watching that battle, and Christian Cameron in 10th.
So nice job by Matt Clark to move up 4 spots now from his 13th spot, starting spot on the grid. Cardenas is the one who has slipped back a little bit from the start, battling with Costello and Teddy Musella and Jacob Douglas. He's been slipping back and now running in 8th spot. So a lot of battles going on at the front of this field and throughout the field.
Yeah, watch the field come through. It is indeed a Scorpione. He was able to take the lead away from Jeffers. So great job for a Scorpione. You wonder whether or not there could be some damage on the front of Cardenas. I don't know that there is, because he did get very deep into the braking zone of turn number 10 on lap number 2. Almost got into the back of Jack Jeffers there.
I wondered if he brushed the driver's left side of that wall, too, as they were heading towards 12.
Potentially.
It was really close.
I think I said it was 10. I believe it was down in turn number 12, actually. I'm getting my visuals on 10 and 12. And, of course, 14 with the tight camera shots. It's hard to kind of pick up. And, of course, it's our first time at a circuit as well. So yeah, Scorpione has taken the lead over Jeffers. Didn't see that pass happen, but Scorpione, Jeffers, Mossman, Costello, and Masella, your top 5. Douglas runs in 6th, Argyros in 7th. He started 9th. Cardenas has fallen back to 8th. Matt Clark started in 12th. He is up 3 to 9th. Christian Cameron running where he started 10th, runs 10th. We've got Evan Cooley in 11th, Brady Golan in 12th. He's up 3. Martella 13th, plus 7 for Anthony Martella. And so for Martella from 20th to 13th, loving this full course caution. Press the reset button for me, thank you very much, as that's Logan Adams coming back through. So Adams into pit lane and back out. And I don't know that he's lost a lap. So whatever they had to do there, Logan Adams continues on. But yeah, for Anthony Martella, hey, listen, I just made up 7 spots. I'll be gifted 2 here in turn number 10. Now he presses the reset button. He could be going after a top 10.
And here's a driver who, same thing, is competing full-time in the USF 2000 series. Because it's an open weekend, they have sights set on the USF Pro 2000 next year. Let's do the one-off. It's a new facility at Arlington. It's an open weekend. He's tested the Pro 2000 car and did very well. Showed plenty of speed during the practice sessions yesterday, but just didn't quite put it together in qualifying. Now we'll really get to see what he has a chance to do as he's closing in on the top 10.
Yeah, and I think yesterday in qualifying just got stuck behind the wrong driver, just wasn't able to get rolling and get the speed he wanted. So lesson learned, right? But drop back. You don't need to be stuck by somebody. Drop back, give up a lap to make sure that you're going to be able to find that fast lap, get that toe if you need to be, or at least that room. And especially for the drivers in this particular category in the USF Pro Championships, our tires, these Continentals last throughout the entire race run. Not like in Europe sometimes where there's a peaky tire, or maybe lap 2 or lap 3 is that magic lap. As our cars get lighter and lighter, you're going to go faster and faster. We often see the fastest times at the end of a run. So mid-session, or even late in the session, you can give up a lap if it gives you those last couple you need to put together a couple of really good sequences.
Yeah, better to have a little bit of clear track and forego one of the 2 laps if you're going to get one good one in.
I mentioned, of course, that the USF Pro Champion, they are running here for a scholarship worth $593,056. That's a scholarship this year to move up to Indy next. USF 2000 scholarship worth over $409,000, over $250,000 for the USF Juniors Champion to move up to USF 2000 next year. So, again, big thank you to everybody here involved in the program. USF Pro Championships would like to welcome guests from the Andersen companies, in addition to our outstanding group of partners and friends. Our guests from the Andersen companies enjoying amazing hospitality. Todd, they've done such a good job of this particular weekend. The hospitality areas are absolutely stellar.
It's just like the rest of this facility. The suites along pit lane have been fantastic. The entire circuit has been beautifully maintained and put together throughout the weekend. Even the racetrack, even between all the sessions, sweepers are going out to clean the track, make sure it is in pristine shape for whichever series is up next.
So just to remind folks, we will do the restart now on the front straightaway, not on the back straightaway where we started the race. So when they get back around to 14, they'll punch. Essentially, I was there for the drivers meeting. Essentially, once the leader gets to the apex of turn number 14, they can get back on the throttle. That's essentially the go point for the restart. So those drivers are going to work their way out here. Turn number 12. Yeah, big sweeping corner coming out of that corner. Not a straight run out of it either. thought we were going to be one to go at this point here, but it looks to me like the pace car stayed out on the racetrack. So maybe one more time around here before we go back to green flag. Indeed, yeah. I was told we were going to go green this time by. No, our Honda pace car staying out that right now. Pacing our field is the beautiful Honda Civic Type R pace car, the most powerful Honda production vehicle ever sold in the U.S. The turbocharged 2-liter 4-cylinder engine producing an incredible 315 horsepower. The smooth and precise 6-speed manual transmission features a revised rev match system helping to maintain stability on corner entry, and a limited slip differential puts the engine's power to the pavement effectively. The Civic Type R leverages Honda's racetrack proven engineering to deliver extreme performance and passion both on the road and on the racetrack. If you're around the facility right now and want to follow all the action of the USF Pro Championships throughout the year, make sure to download the free USF Pro Championships app at the Apple Store for iPhones and Google Play for Android mobile phones and tablets. All of our live timing, all of our live broadcasts, doesn't matter where you are. My USF Pro Insider podcast is on there. Our mini documentary Driven is on there as well. So much good content on the app that'll bring you closer. All the driver bios are on there as well. You just can learn so much about the series by downloading the USF Pro Championships app.
Drivers weaving back and forth just a little bit, making sure those tires are clean, no marbles, no rubbers stuck to the tires. They want them clean, and maximum adhesion for the restart as we get back around towards the start-finish line. Leonardo Scorpioni got around the pole sitter Jack Jeffers. He will lead them back to green, and be interested to see how quickly he gets on the throttle as they do go back to green. As you mentioned, when they come through 14, getting back through the apex, it's up to the leader to decide when to hit the throttle, when to charge away. Maybe they back the field up just a little bit, approaching 14, try to get a little bit of a gap before coming through and taking the green.
Yeah, 4 laps in the books, but you can see we have got down to the time here now, about 16 minutes, a little over 16 minutes remaining in the run, so we're not going to get anywhere close to our 18 laps on the time limit, which happens occasionally at these street races when things happen. Honda pace car getting on the throttle to get out of here and get back to pit lane so that our drivers can get things underway. A Scorpioni will lead them. Jeffers, Mossman, Costello, and Masella, the top 5. We'll see whether or not a driver like Martella can continue that march forward. Matt Clark up a couple as well. Teddy Musella having a good run. Started 6th, he's got a spot early. So watch these drivers getting ready to roll as they work their way now through turn number 12. The crawl down the straightaway here into turn 14. Everybody ready to get on the loud pedal and start it once again. Lap 5 will go in the books when they come back around. Overhead shot here of turn number 14. You'll see the rotation of a Scorpioni when he gets into the corner and punches off, gets himself dialed in, back on the throttle, and away we go. Green flag will be thrown here by Aaron Likens at start finish. Everybody further back, just back on the throttle. They'll dive their way into turn number 1. Clean and green through. You see that difficult transition with the angles coming through turn number 2 down over to the entry to 3. Really jerks the wheel out of the hands of the drivers. Here comes a big run here for Jack Jeffers. He's on the gearbox of a Scorpioni. Jeffers to the inside, little lock up to the bottom of the racetrack, side by side, coming through 4. Jeffers on the outside, coming through 5, down to the horseshoe. Does Jeffers get the spot? He's on the inside. Oh, he'll have the inside, but a Scorpioni trying to hold the outside, back up the hill. Book it, he's through. Jeffers goes to P1.
Great job by both those drivers, giving each other racing room, but being super aggressive for a Scorpioni trying to hold on to the position, but Jack Jeffers back out in front and leading this field.
Little brake lock up on the left front there going into 4 for Jack Jeffers. You wonder whether or not that'll play, but he's got a big gap here right now. Frankie Mossman up into the 3rd spot. Here comes Mossman. He's hunting on a Scorpioni. He'll go to driver's left. Not quite. Look at these guys whistling down the back straightaway. Unbelievable sight here in Arlington. Down to the bottom. Good job for Scorpioni. Going to hold off Mossman. He'll try the over-under on the corner. Costello there. Great fighting further back. Costello this time. Rather, Scorpioni to the inside. Mossman to the outside out of turn number 10. Mossman haunting the windows of a Scorpioni, trying to find a way by. Jeffers taking full advantage of this, Todd, to try to stretch away.
Exactly. If there's a fight between 2nd and 3rd, Jack Jeffers is glancing in his mirrors and saying, put the pedal down and go as fast as you can. Try to put a little distance between yourself and that fight.
Oh, look at the drivers battling in there. Masella, Douglas, Argyros, all scrapping in there. Over-unders. Another big move to the bottom of the racetrack there. That's Argyros On the outside, looking in Ardros now on Douglas, 6th and 7th. Remember, Todd, one thing to throw out here, this is the top level of the USF Pro Championships, so these drivers aren't brand new to the sport. They've come through juniors, USF 2000. We expect their racecraft to be at another level. There's Cardenas going hard at it as well. Cardenas going to the inside of Ardros as they come through turn number 4.
Big fights and big moves throughout this field. Anthony Martella has picked up another spot, and we have seen Matt Clark, who had gained 3 or 4 spots, has fallen back in the field now.
That there you see to the top of the screen is Tanner DeFabis in that number 5 again. He's pulled out of the way. I don't know that we go yellow there. He's got himself into a spot where they're going to be able to just drag him, I believe, quick jack him back into that cutout. And that's one of the things that our race control will tell drivers at the drivers meeting before any weekend, especially on the street circuit. If you can get to a cutout, if you can get to a place, if you're stricken, that allows us to pull you off and stay green, we highly appreciate that, and we'll think about that down the line. So shout out to DeFabis, who has had a rough weekend so far. There's Jeffers working his way through turn number 10. The gap up front has split up a little bit. Scorpione second. There's a pass further back there as well. That's one of the, I've got Golan and Cooley going at it. Martella's got himself up to 12th. That may be the battle with Golan and Martella. Don't know whether Cooley got by. Oh, there's Ardros going around. G3 Ardros coming into turn 12, loses the rear of the car. He'll loop it back around. Ardros had the thing rotating on entry. I thought maybe something might have been wrong with the car itself, and it might have tapped the wall or something, but Todd looked to me like maybe just lost it, kind of over-rotated on the entry.
Just seemed to get the back end light and then started to spin around and found himself pointing the wrong direction on the racetrack. We have heard racers talk about corner 12 that you have to be bold with it. You have to be aggressive to get maximum performance out of that. Ardros obviously got just a little too aggressive, back end stepped out on it.
Let's pick up some other things. Matt Clark has had to, I believe, make the run to pit lane, or an issue with Matt Clark losing his front wing, we believe. So that's going to shake things up front. Remember, Matt Clark was running just inside the top 10. That brings Christian Cameron to 8th, Brady Golan into 9th, and Evan Cooley up into 10th. Martella is now 11th from 23rd. What a run for Martella. Plus 12 for the young Canadian up to the 11th position. But we've got some great racing still happening. G3 Ardros, the spin over in 12 has dropped him down. There's a battle as well. That's to one of the exclusive cars. I think that's further back. That's Brienza and Juncos, I think, battling for the top 15.
Great fights as we expected to see at the USF Pro 2000 Championships throughout the field. It remains Jack Jeffers out front of Leonardo Scorpione. The lead less than a second. As we get into the closing moments of this race, it will be a timed race. Won't get the full 18 laps, but we have not seen the last of that battle at the front or throughout the rest of this field.
My watch says 8 minutes. Live timing says 10:45. I'll go with the 10:45. I'd like to run a little bit longer if we possibly could. But indeed, issues for a number of the drivers out on the racetrack. I did get a text in from Logan Knapp from the lead engines telling me max speed of the back straightaway for these drivers with the gearing we have, 154 miles an hour. So I know the Indy cars were up there plus 190, but yeah, 154 for the USF Pro 2000. That is hustling down a winding and bumpy back straightaway.
Look at these lap times starting to come down too as the drivers put a couple of laps in here under green. Now just over the 147 mark with Jack Jeffers and Scorpione out front, and the top 4 drivers in fact under the 148 mark.
Issue right now for Evan Cooley falling down the order. Not sure what happened to Evan. That's going to move Martella up into the 10th spot. So another issue here for Cooley. He's into the pit lane. You wonder whether it was a wing. What happened to him? Did he touch a wall? But he is into pit lane. Cooley, who had a good run early, running there up into the top 10, out again.
But his tough luck in terms of trying to finish races continues. As you mentioned, it has gone back as far as last year at Portland.
And there he is there, folks. The steering wheel off the race car. Evan Cooley is going to have to figure this out in terms of how you just, really put it behind you, because again, 6 races in a row, he's not made it to the checkered flag, and indeed most of those races didn't make it to the end of lap number 1. So another issue there, despite showing good speed. That has moved Martella up into 10th. Hoskins goes to 11th. Durst 12th, Adams 13th, Joey Brienza 14th, and Leandro Juncos now running in the 15th spot. Jeffers' lead now 1.2 seconds. There it is there. Scorpione second, third, Mossman. Although here's a battle further back. That is Masella and Costello. Teddy Masella and Michael Costello at it here, coming out of turn number 10. Yeah, they're going to continue rolling on it. I believe he may have made his way by. Yeah, Michael Costello back into the 4th spot. Started 3rd, now runs 4th. Mossman a big mover as well. Started 7th, currently on the podium in 3rd. Fast Frankie, who had some kind of an issue in qualifying, spent a lot of time on pit lane, Todd. They were able to kind of figure it out, get him back on track. He was able to put a good lap time to go P7, but he is racing his way up to the podium.
Great job so far. Didn't catch the number, but it looked like there was another car that had front wing damage. Didn't see who it was coming through corner number 12, but I thought there was a car that had a little bit of damage to that front wing.
We're watching them all cycle through 2 and 3. You can just see those cars bump as they come back through there. Wings we saw looking pretty decent there, but again, this is a great shot of the drivers coming through turn 4, turn 5, back down to what is the horseshoe part of this racetrack, almost a carousel left-hander. Different ways to approach how you come through that corner to be able to set up for the final corner. And that was a lot of talk during the track walk, Todd. Hey, where do we need to be? Where's the car really want to be? Are we coming across the painted area? Do you want to be a little wider to try to potentially do a late apex on turn number 6 and 7? There's different ways to get around here.
And it depends on your circumstances as well. Are you trying to set up a pass for a little bit later on as you get towards corner number 8 and that right-hander to go up the inside? What type of line you'll take through 5, 6 towards 7 and through the horseshoe?
Frankie Mossman just turned the fast lap of the race with a 1:46.641. He's by himself on the racetrack. As you can see, a Scorpione's closed up on Jeffers as well. Leonardo Scorpione going to be lining up for a chance to battle for the race win. I would not be surprised, though, to see Mossman continue to close. Last time by, he was about a tenth or 2 seconds quicker than Scorpione, but again, a Scorpione 3/10 faster than Jack Jeffers. Was it a bad lap? Are the tires starting to go off? One of the unknowns, Todd, coming into the weekend is how are these Continental Tires going to handle what is a fairly abrasive ground racetrack over a full distance. We've only got 9 laps in a regular race, we'd only be at the halfway point.
Well, and this is going to be part of the learning process for the teams as well. After this race, they'll be able to take a look at those tires, understand how much they have worn, how abrasive the track has been, expecting to go the full 18 a little bit later on this afternoon. Do you have to be a little easier on them to ensure that they go the distance?
Exactly that, and the drivers all figured it out as well as they drive. Brakes were a concern during practice and qualifying. Things seem to be handled so well so far. Scorpione with a big lead now over Mossman. Mossman turned that fast lap, but the gap now about 3 seconds. So Scorpione's got lots of room here to go to work. And I guarantee you his team owner, Peter Dempsey, will be on the radio telling him exactly that. You've got room behind, let's go to work. Although remember, kind of a fact-finding mission for Leonardo Scorpione, your USF Juniors champion. He has a scholarship to go USF 2000 racing next year, or rather this year all season. Does he want to make the jump to pro if he has good success, or is this like kind of a one-off, like, I know I can get the job done next year?
Well, but if he finishes on the podium here, and we'll see what happens later on this afternoon, I imagine there will be a few discussions. Let's call out Anthony Martello once again. He's picked up another spot and is inside the top 10, running 9th.
Same speed last time as Brady Golan, but he is only back by 0.6 of a second. Martella from 23rd to 9th. What a drive. You know the family is watching back home in Ontario. They'll be on the edge of the couch for this one for sure. Here's a battle again. Look at this fight further back. That is, I believe, still that Costello-Masella fight. They've actually rolled up as the driver's gone around. We have a driver around that may be Masella. Hard to pick exactly that out from here, but the driver's gone around over in turn number 12. You can see the flag flying, so they're still clean and green after that corner. 5 minutes still remaining. It is car number 25, Teddy Masella. He made a hard move to the inside there. They were battling hard, he and Costello. That was the fight for the 4th position, and he has gone around. The thing about a 2.73 mile racetrack is once the field goes through, every driver's going to have some time to get back around as well.
Absolutely. He'll have time to get turned around. It's a great deal of track position that he has just given up. It's a great illustration, again, of how challenging and difficult that turn number 12 is. You rub off a little bit of speed, but you really have to attack the corner. But if you miss it just a little bit, you'll find the back end out in front.
So what it's done with a little over 4 minutes remaining is brought Martella up to 8th right now, because he's passed a lot of drivers to get spots, but he's also made up with other drivers making mistakes. How about JT Hoskins as well into 9th position? Logan Adams was in the pit lane earlier in the race. He's into the top 10 now. Hoskins coming up for the USF Juniors program, a 2-year deal here with Jay Howard Driver Development to focus on trying to get to Indy next in 2028. Young driver out of Sarasota, Florida, having a solid run. The rookie up in a 9th spot of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rookies in the top 10 right now. What an impressive drive for all of these freshmen drivers here, looking good in the opening run of the season.
So Frankie Mossman running third, a bit of a distance between himself and Leonardo Scorpioni, who looks like he has closed back up just a little bit on Jack Jeffers.
Yeah, but Jeffers just happens to throw down the fast lap of the race. Challenge, I may have a little bit more. And Jeffers lays one down with a 146.07. That said, was only 0.04 of a second faster than the lap for a Scorpioni. Both those drivers, first and second, started on the front row, respective champions in USF 2000 and USF Juniors, just showing it here today. It's so impressive what both Jeffers and the Scorpioni are getting done. 3 minutes to go. We got the clock on the race now. 3 minutes remaining here. Jeffers and Scorpioni out front by 5 seconds, a huge lead. Jeffers with Exclusive Autosport, Scorpioni with Turn 3 Motorsports, although I'll say this, the crew from Zanella Racing is still here. Jose Zanella is here, Ernie Ganella, his engineer in his USF 2000 program, who engineered him in USF Juniors. They're here this weekend. They're helping with Turn 3. Actually, Ernie Ganella spent a lot of time with Turn 3 in the past, so not surprised that he's right back in helping to engineer the car. It was going to be 4 cars for Turn 3, Peter Dempsey and Mandy Dempsey's team. Ends up being 5. We got a driver who's gone around. Is that Jeffers? Jeffers may have spun. I think Jack Jeffers, the leader, potentially around, and backs it into the wall. Trouble for Jack Jeffers, the leader, with just 2 minutes remaining. What? Oh, no. White flag flying this time by. A Scorpioni has taken the lead as Jeffers has gone around. I think that may be onto the straightaway of turn number 9. So coming down the hill onto the straightaway, Jeffers potentially has gone around and backed it into the concrete. Oh no for Jeffers. Full course yellow on the racetrack. Lock him and load him. This is done. Oh, you cannot believe it. Jeffers off the racetrack in turn number 9. The corner that leads onto the back straightaway. The camera popped up. All we saw was one car, the blue and white 4 of a Scorpioni. And Leonardo is going to inherit the lead. An uncharacteristic mistake out of Jack Jeffers is going to drop him to very likely 19th, 18th potentially, having led all but one lap.
Knowing that they were coming to perhaps the white flag, perhaps the last lap, Jeffers trying to get through 9, get out onto this long straightaway. Everyone has talked throughout the weekend to say you got to get through 9 to be able to get maximum speed towards the end of corner 10. Just stepped out on him, and it ruined his day.
Hey, listen, we saw it with G3R Giro. So you're trying to roll a lot of corner. A lot of times you'll trail brake into the corner and try to hold that brake a little bit to get the car to rotate so you can get back on throttle, and it'll pick the back of the car up. When you get back on throttle, it kind of writes things down, gets the car to settle back, and you're back on throttle. It doesn't take much on a track like this to potentially lose that rear end on entry. Yeah, Jack Jeffers falling all the way down. He's going to end up 18th as he'll move his teammate Matt Clark up into the 17th spot. Man, he will be beating himself up over that. He held off the challenge from a Scorpioni throughout the race, but again, there you go, drivers. That's why you never let up. If you're in second and you're pushing, that's why you never stop pushing. You never stop poking your nose into the mirror, because you got to try to see if you can't force that error.
That's the whole objective. Remind the driver ahead of you. That's where you are. Yes, I'm looking for an opportunity. Get them to take their focus away from looking out front to paying attention to you in their mirrors.
Wow, I'll tell you, what a wild start to the USF Pro 2000 category. Exclusive Autosports had some rough starts here for sure. In USF 2000 2 weeks ago at St. Petersburg, Anthony Martella was kind of sweeping across to take the lead to start that race in the opening race of USF 2000. Contact from behind, from the side actually, from Eddie Beswick, set him around. Cooley climbed up over top of his teammate. In the next race, a driver from behind Cooley took out his wing at the start, and Martello with a mechanical out on the opening lap. And here they are looking at a victory potentially in USF Pro 2000, just 2 laps away, and it goes by the wayside. Now listen to me, here's the thing. I'm going to go back and find out in the paddock. There was that contact at the start of the race when Cardenas got into the back of Jeffers. I wonder if there was any kind of tire damage. was it a flat tire? If he lost that left rear, that would have caused the incident. There's two potential opportunities. Did he just lose it, or did that tire finally give way to the suspension piece give way as well?
That will be part of the post-race debrief to see exactly what happened. But yes, that's an interesting one to see whether or not it was going to be an issue that started earlier and resulted in a late spin from Jack Jeffers. But how about Leonardo Scorpioni?
Yeah, unbelievable start. Here's a kid that came out of USF Juniors as the dominant driver, very consistent last year to win the championship. He gets a couple of podiums at St. Petersburg. He's never finished off the podium in a street circuit race now. Unbelievable. Scorpioni with the win. Frankie Mossman. Mossman goes from deeper in the field, started 7th. He finishes 2nd. Michael Costello on the podium in 3rd. Andres Cardenas in 4th. Christian Cameron 5th. Brady Golan up into 6th spot. Anthony Martella 23rd to 7th. Logan Adams 8th. JT Hoskins 9th. And Joey Brienza from 19th rather. He works his way all the way up into 10th. And in fact, it was 20th to 17th, or 7th rather, for Martella, so plus 13 on the race.
That's a very strong day for Anthony Martella, who had a very difficult debut a couple of weeks ago in USF 2000, and it's a nice strong finish to kick off this weekend.
Todd, I'll let you go through the entire 22 car field. I am going to take the quick run over to Victory Lane.
We'll hear from Rob momentarily as he heads over to Victory Lane to chat with the winner, and that would be Leonardo Scorpioni, as we look at the unofficial results for race number 1 today for the USF Pro 2000 series. This just the appetizer. The main meal comes up later on with a second race for USF Pro 2000 as well. Scorpioni, in his debut in USF Pro 2000, finishes in the front. Frankie Mossman, Michael Costello round out the podium finishers. Cardenas, who slipped back to the back half, about 8th or 9th position, manages to climb back up to 4th before the end of this one. Cameron, Golan, Anthony Martella, as we documented, starts well at the back of the field, about 20th. He gets up to a top 10 position, finishing in the 7th spot. Adams, Hoskins, and Joey Brienza, also who started at the back, manages to climb up and score a top 10 finish as well. Some nice runs up towards the front of the field for a number of these drivers that didn't have the best qualifying effort. They find themselves up towards the top 10 and inside the top 10 at the finish. Argyros, who had that spin earlier, seemed to lose it on his own going into corner number 12. He recovers to finish just outside the top 10 in 11th. Tyke Durst, Leandro Juncos, finishes in 13th. Aiken, Teddy Musella, who has troubles trying to make that pass in corner number 12, slips down to 15th. Douglas Matt Clark, who we saw look to have had an issue with the front wing, looked like some contact. He had climbed up from, I believe it was 13th at the start of this race to climb inside the top 10 before he has some troubles. Nice to have him back in the series, and again, hopefully some optimism moving forward. Jeffers, the problem, we'll find out exactly the source of it. Did he simply make a mistake in quarter number 9? Was there a little bit of a rub, a little bit of a contact earlier that resulted in another issue late in the race? But regardless, he slips back to 18th. Evan Cooley and Tanner DeFabis, who has had some troubles, this weekend here on the streets of Arlington, finishes in 20th. Schrag and Sebastian Manson round out the 22-car field for USF Pro 2000. As mentioned, this just race number 1 of 2 that they will have here on the day today. But what a debut for Leonardo Scorpioni. He is competing full-time, or scheduled to compete full-time, in the USF 2000 series, and made his debut a couple of weeks ago in St. Petersburg. Finished on the podium in both of those events. An open weekend, so decides, yes, I'm going to try the USF Pro 2000 series. Of course, that's the top step of the ladder of the USF Pro Championships, and with an open weekend and sights set on making the jump to the top step next year, having a little bit of experience. We'll see drivers do this throughout the season. Some drivers that are competing in USF 2000 and have sights set on moving up to the top rung of the ladder next year will do a one-off. We'll do a race weekend on an open weekend that they have from the USF 2000 Championships. Don't forget, NTT IndyCar Series qualifying is coming up shortly as well as our full day of on-track activity. It'll be followed by Indy Next qualifying a little bit later on this afternoon. We'll have qualifying for Toyota GR Cup, and of course the USF 2000 series will be back for race number 2 here on the streets at the Java House Grand Prix of Arlington. But there is your winner, climbing out of the car with a big smile on his face. Rest of the drivers making their way onto pit road. There is Frankie Mossman, who finishes in the runner-up position. The Michael Costello car, number 2, also along pit road. But tremendous action. It was shortened a little bit because of some issues with the track that required repairs, and we were a little bit late starting this USF Pro 2000 Championship race. But let's go down to Rob to hear from the winner.
All right, folks, down here right now with the winner of this one, Leonardo Scorpioni. Leo, you won a lot of races in USF Juniors last year. A pro win. Just give me your thoughts right now, man.
I mean, I'm super happy to get a win in my debut here in pro. The car was a rocket ship. You know, I messed it up a little bit on the restart, but I was able to put a lot of pressure on Jack and force him into a mistake. So it was really good. I'm really happy. I'm super happy with the team, and thank you to them for giving me an amazing car, and I'm ready to go for race 2.
The car seemed to get better and better to the end of that one. Did you feel that? You were closing up and putting a lot of pressure on him.
Yeah, I feel like for halfway to the end of the race, we were the quickest on track. You know, we were really, really quick, and I'm super excited to go for race 2 and see if we can come out with another win.
Give me your thoughts from behind the helmet there when Jack went around over in turn number 12. What are your thoughts on, man, I got an open racetrack going to the final corners?
You know, I saw him going off, and I knew the track was getting a little greasy, so I was like, okay, I just got to make sure I don't go off because I know they're going to go full course yellow. So I stayed focused, make sure I didn't go off like him, and yeah, it was amazing.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Leonardo Scorpioni, folks, fantastic job for him as he's able to do what I think nobody thought he was going to be able to do as a juniors champion, come in here and win in Pro 2000 in his debut.
Let's go back down to Rob with our podium ceremonies.
Todd, thank you so much indeed down here at a raised victory lane for the drivers in USF Pro 2000. So great to be part of this Java House Grand Prix of Arlington. Let's get the drivers who worked their way to the podium here to start off the 2026 season. Finishing in third spot for Turn 3 Motorsports, Michael Costello. Finishing in second place for VRD Racing Fast, Frankie Mossman. And ladies and gentlemen, USF Juniors champion last year. He's already got a couple of podiums in USF 2000. This is an unbelievable debut for this young driver from Florida. The winner today from Turn 3 Motorsports, Leonardo Scorpioni. Pounded the leader throughout the entire race. And a little minor mistake on the final couple of laps put Jack Jeffers backwards into the wall, and a Scorpioni to the top of the box here in Texas. Huge run for a Scorpioni, again focused on the scholarship he won from last year's championship in USF Juniors to run in USF 2000 this year. His first ever street circuit race was 2 weeks ago at the Grand Prix of St. Petersburg. 2 podiums for the young driver from Florida. And then he comes here to try the USF Pro 2000 program, a full program very likely in 2027. But man, out of the gate, first time ever, he puts it on top of the box. An absolutely veteran drive for a Scorpioni, putting the pressure on throughout the entire 30-minute run. And he comes away with a huge victory that could change his mindset on where he wants to be driving here in 2026. IndyCar drivers have worked their way down here on the pit lane, getting ready to go for their session here. Fantastic crowd outside at turn number 1. Hope you guys are enjoying yourself over there. Hat dance rolling here. Get the VP hats on. We're very proud to have VP as our official spec fuel, our partner for many, many years here in the USF Pro Championships. Continental Tire, of course, the tires of all of our 3 series that lead racers to move to the Indy Next program. Champagne, of course, going to fly as it always does here. These drivers will be back at it once again before the end of the day, as they have race number 2 coming this afternoon. We're trying to throw the hats. There you go. Guys, hop your way back up on here for you, please. We got a couple of shots here with our guests from Andersen Interior Contracting. And all of our guests really enjoying this tremendous weekend here in Arlington. The Texas hospitality elevated here for this weekend's inaugural event. What a great race for the drivers in USF Pro 2000. There are perils around every corner, and the drivers who are able to avoid those are the ones that come away with success. All 3 of the drivers here on this podium staying out of trouble, hardcore racing, but coming away with first, second, and third place finishes. Just one more thing before we wrap things up here on the broadcast and here at the track, and we'll be back this afternoon, 4:15 scheduled start time. Maybe pushed a little bit later. We're off schedule, as you know. But drivers, you've got that champagne, guys. Grip it and rip it. Let's celebrate race number 1 in USF Pro 2000. And indeed, no one's going after each other. These suits have to get worn one more time. Fantastic stuff here on the podium, and a fantastic win for Leonardo Scorpione, winner of race 1 in the 2026 season in USF Pro 2000. On behalf of Andersen Promotions and Continental Tire, thank you so much, folks. We're back at 4:15 this afternoon for race number 2.